So your life in your primary school, first of all, I think many of us need to understand that the system that is currently being called CBC was actually there during your time. Only that the content has changed, but the structure of class.
Yes, our time we used to go up to class 7.
Class 7.
We used to go to do nursery, and then class 1 up to class 7, we'll do the exam.
Right.
And then go from 1 up to form 4, and then form 5 and form 6. From 1 to form 4, you would either be a science student, a technical student, or a art student. Like now for me, I did science. I did maths, chemistry, biology, and physics.
I need to go back a little bit.
Okay.
In your primary school days, tell us about your experience with your English teacher.
Oh, my teacher of my teacher of English and my teacher of maths. Allow me to say something about my teacher of maths. My teacher of English was a rough teacher. He was so rough. Actually, he affected my learning. If there is anything I can do today and not speak in English, I'll be grateful. But of course I can't, because English is the medium of instruction. But our teacher of English was a very rough teacher. He was tall, very tall, looking like a giant. In fact, we had nicknamed him Giant. And he used to speak very good, polished English. He would give us work to do, and you must get everything right. If you missed on anything, each one that you missed, 5 kids. So that really got me hating English when I was in primary. But I said I can't talk about my teacher of English and not talk about my teacher of maths. My teacher of maths, late Mr. Kenda, was the best thing that can happen to a student. He was good, very good. He was so warm. He was so helpful. If he found any one of us struggling, he would come down there and assist you. He loved me. Now, during break time, Mr. Kenda used to carry me on my shoulder high. And that's how I loved mathematics to date. I'm originally a teacher of maths. I am more comfortable teaching maths than teaching anything else, just because of my teachers, the teachers that I interacted with in primary. So for me as a teacher today, if you really want your students to learn, caning them and being rough to them doesn't help. Being nice to them, in my view, is very motivating, and it helps the students to love both the teacher and the subject.
Now, that you have been on both sides of that coin.
Yes.
Because from where I sit, I'm thinking, if this is a teacher who had the best English, then he might have lost an opportunity for you guys to learn from him by just being rough.
Yes.
How did that shape your teaching style later when you now became a teacher?
Let me tell you, anytime I'm interacting with a student, I have the two pictures. I have the teacher of a bad teacher and a good teacher. Like I've said already, being rough to your children, to your students, posting, very educated, because he really used to speak good English. He was posting very educated. It's like you guys are fools. You don't know anything.
So there was an intimidation of some sort.
Yes. So for me today, even when as I teach and when I'm speaking to the students, to the teachers, I tell teachers, you are the teacher already. So there is no competition between you and your students. Simply facilitate your learners to actually learn. And when they learn, you meet your objectives. So you are the teacher. There is no problem. So for my teacher of English, he really wanted to intimidate us. He wanted us to feel that he was in charge. He was the teacher. I am the teacher. And he had such deep voice, and he was tall. He had red eyes, very big eyes, very scary.
It reminds me of a few teachers who taught me through education. So you come up to class 7, and from the book I get it that you really enjoyed school. You loved being in school.
Yes, I did. I loved being in school, and that's where now the hand in the handles comes in my view, because I don't remember anyone encouraging me to go to school. Yeah. But somehow the Lord just helped me. I mean, I just pulled through. I loved to be in school. In fact, I did class 7 the first year. I was called to a school, a school called Dagaja in M County. My grandparents did not have money to pay for my fees. So instead of me dropping out like my uncles and my aunties and many others that I was with in school and staying at home, I decided to go back and repeat and hope that the second time my grandparents will have school fees. So I repeated class 7. I passed again in class 8.
Was the mark
in class 7.
Was the mark the second time better than the first time?
It was much higher. It was much higher.
Right.
I got, do I remember the grades? I got to 29 or 30 points. Those days we were marked by points. So I was called to Birori High School. Then it was Birori. Today it is Moi High School Birori.
It is important for us to understand that you didn't go back to school because you had failed.
No.
You had actually passed.
I passed. I was called to Dagaja. There's a school called Dagaja in Embu County. I was called. And I could not go to school because there was no fees. My grandparents did not have money for school fees.
Paint us a picture.
Yes.
If at that point, no school fees, because this is a story we hear every day.
Yes.
No school fees. If that had molded the decision of you saying this is the end of me education, paint us a picture of where now Dr. Mercy would have been.
Let me tell you. Ask me about my classmates. Those that I was with in class 7. Those days, you are not in school, you get married. Actually, what I feared was to get married. I didn't want to get married. When I was young. Those days you drop out of class 7. You see, even my mother dropped out of class 6 and she got married. Any girl who dropped out of school, it was easy. You just got married and get children. So today I would maybe be having very old children. I mean, older than my sons. I would have gotten married and I was a beautiful girl. And so
definitely you're still beautiful.
So for me, that idea was not part of my scheme.
It was not palatable.
No, it was simply not. For me, I was not going to get married at that time, at that point, for many reasons. And that's what I'm saying, it's the hand in the handles. Because actually what got me not want to get married and want not to get children is because I was named after my grandmother.
Okay.
And in Embu we name children. So I was named after my grandmother. So I was looking at myself, getting a child, and who do I name now? Do I name my aunties and my uncles that are with me? Do I name my father and my mother who are not living with me? Then I did not actually know that the guy who married my mother was not my father. I thought he was my father.
Oh, okay.
Yes, all through. So I didn't want that scenario. That for me is not something that I really wanted to do. So to be safe, I went back to school. I repeated. Yes. I went through again up to class 7.
Yes.
Got good grades again, was called to Moimbirori. There was no money for school fees. Here I am stuck. Yes.
You have just finished school. And I'm sure that time results were not coming immediately.
The results used to come actually except Christmas Day. The results used to come the day before Christmas Day.
Oh, okay. So by New Year, you knew where your fate was.
Yes, I mean those days it wasn't difficult to get a school. It wasn't difficult to get a school as long as you have passed.
Yes.
I mean, life definitely was much. It was different. Getting a high school was easy. The issue was school fees those days.
Now, for the period that now you are on the second time, you had another whole year to prepare, and you're feeling like, okay, we still are in the same. Now I'm looking at this like this. At your age, how much of an hurdle was that in your brain?
Let me take you back.
Yes.
Let me take you back to my grandparents. My grandparents do not appreciate school that much. So there is no way they were going to start looking for money and saving. For what? For school. No way.
So this school thing is your personal mission?
It was my personal thing. And again, you see, my uncles and my aunties and all dropped. None of them went to high school. So it wasn't going to be a big deal for me not to be in high school.
You were just among the other dropouts.
It was, and by the way, you know what? It's not even anything to be angry with. I mean, or to be angry about. It was simply like that. And again, those days, people used to be, I don't know how it used to be, but we used to, you see coffee.
Yes.
You unaandikisha. So there is a rate that comes out. So maybe the rate is going to be 50 cents those days.
Yes.
So unaandikisha 20 cents. And then you send that money to school. That's how, even for me, how I went to Form 1. Let me give you the story of my, now going to Form 1. Now I am there, I've passed, I've been called to Moindirore, and I can't report. Hey, and I can't take this. I nagged my grandfather until he sold. He actually sold his sewing machine.
So he was a tailor?
Yes, he was a tailor.
I've read from the book that he used to eke a living through sewing. Yes. And he has just given up his source of income for you to go to school.
Yes, he did. He sold, and then my uncles were also asked to contribute. Each one of them contributed. I don't remember that it was 20 cents or it was what, but each one of them contributed. And now because I still don't have enough, I went to my neighbors and borrowed. I borrowed a suitcase. I borrowed school uniform, blankets, bedsheets, those things that you report with to Form 1. I borrowed from my neighbors.
So I'm getting that you must have really developed a thick skin of getting what you want from an early stage. Because if I'm imagining myself, if I'm a taxi driver and I'm selling my taxi for you to go to school, and this is not even enough, so it's not like it's an investment that is going to come back immediately.
Yes.
Hey, God bless your grandfather.
Yes, my grandfather. I have always been very aggressive. I would say I really thank God for the resilience. If it were not for that, definitely I would not be where I am. During the holiday, now I've gone to Form 1. There is no money for my personal effects. There is no money for school fees.
And at that point, now you're coming into the age of adulting.
Yes, I am now a big girl, 13, 14 years. Yes.
Take us through that.
What used to happen during the holiday? We cross school. My road is not very far from my home, so I would put my suitcase on the head and walk to school. Okay. So during the holiday, I would be looking ahead. I would be thinking about my personal effects during the term. So I would actually in Embu we call it Koremia. I would go to pick coffee. I would go to pick tea. I would go to Kurima, and I am paid. So I will be paid that money. I will save it. Then when we are opening school, that's how I'll buy my personal effects. I'll be able to buy soap, some cocoa, some sugar, those little things that the students buy when they're going to school. That's how I survived from Form 1 all the way to Form 4. I actually don't remember being given any money by my grandparents to go and do shopping. I will do shopping with my own money that I have earned during the holiday.
Wow. I'm also now looking at it from the point of view that, first of all, at that point, were sanitary pads widely available in the market?
Now, let me tell you, those days we were using cotton, not like always today and OB, very decent.
Right.
We were using cotton.
Yes.
And we would buy a big one. Now, for some reason, I used to have a a lot of my piece used to be a lot, and the cotton wool that I would buy would not even be enough. I still remember that I'm grateful to my friends. I have a lady called Sophia and another one called Virginia who used to help me. They, for them, they came from backgrounds that they were doing shopping. They so many items. So they would report to school, and they would give me a roll. Virginia would give me a roll of cotton wool, and Sophia, and that's how I survived. At least I could survive with little soap and oil. But you see now, for cotton wool, I needed to have it, otherwise I'll mess up. So I'm forever grateful to God for helping Sophia and Virginia to actually help me go over the handles.
That is very interesting, because sometimes we wait for God to come himself, and we fail to see the helping hands that he sends us our way through people. And it tells us a lot about the need for just being nice, because I think nowadays we are raising a generation that being nice is to be clapped for.
No, personally, I appreciate help. I appreciate giving. I don't think I have anything big that I can't give someone. I will give it to you, because I have come this far by the kind of help that I've been given by people, and I've been shown by people. I was given help in primary school, given help in high school, in my Form 1 to Form 4, Form 5 to Form 6, and even all through, I have received so much help from people. So for me, helping someone, I don't think twice. The only thing that I can't give you is I don't have it. If I have it, I will share. Because I also know the principle of giving. The principle of giving is the more you give, the more you receive. Yes. The more you hold, the more you don't get.
I'm educated by a quote by Pope Francis II, who once said that there's no one who has so little that they can't give.
True.
And no one has so much that they can't receive.
That's very true.
It is also in high school that you are now graduating from just being your traditional church-going girl into now personally giving your life to Christ. Take us through that journey.
All through when I was in primary, I was in the choir. I was in the youth, very, very active in the church. And like I mentioned earlier, I went to church very, very early, but I had never understood the real meaning of having an encounter with Christ. When I was in Form 1, there was a guy called Mr. Njiro. Mr. Njiro was a teacher on teaching practice. Very, very nice guy. He really taught us well in class. I mean, in the Christian Union. He was coming to our Christian Union. And by the way, I used to conduct songs during Sunday service in high school. But I had not given my life to Christ. And this day, Mr. Njiro gave a testimony. Very simple scripture. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. That word, I had known it over and over. I had talked about it myself, but this particular time, it came to me with a complete new meaning. I wanted to give my life to Christ. But guess what? I was already a soloist in Sunday service and in school. There is no way I was going to put my hand up.
And people are like, oh, so all this time.
All this time. So the following day, Monday, I remember. In fact, I went to Moibirode the other day, and I was telling the boys, you see this point here? I got born again. So I went after tea. I went to the staff. I told Mr. Njiro that I would want to tell him something in the dining room. So we went with him to the dining room and we sat at a corner. And I told him, I want to give my life to Christ. You know, like that, like that story of this man who went to Jesus at night. I went to Marini privately. There is no way I was going to put up my hand in the Sunday service and get born again. What was it all this time now? So I gave my life to Christ in Form 1, and it's been an awesome journey. Loving the Lord and just walking with him all the way.
Sometimes we make God look like this magician who will like do trade-offs with us.
Yes.
And from reading your story and listening to you, I'm hearing that even though at all this time you had not like committed fully, his hand was still with you.
His hand was always with me. I mean, like I'm telling you my story about primary, how I maneuvered the handles. Let me tell you what, if that is not God, then I need somebody to tell me who that one is.
Exactly.
Yes. I was very active in church. I was a good girl. I mean, I served in church and everything. The only thing that I had not done was knowing God personally, so giving my life to Christ. But the hand of God was over me. When I look back at the way I grew with my grandparents and the kind of challenges that I went through of lack, especially, and maneuvering class 7 first year and second year, and not choosing to drop out of school and get married and all that. For me, that's the hand of God. I mean, through high school with so much luck.
Yes.
And the Lord helped me. I came out strong in Form 4. I passed. And that's how I managed to go to high school. So the hand of God has been over my life.
You mentioned that you used to go home by foot.
Yes.
With your suitcase in your head.
Yes.
Very interesting. So now take us through the journey of. So in high school, you mentioned that you had to specialize in specific lessons.
Yes, I did sciences. We used to have sciences, arts, and technical. So I did sciences. Sciences meant I was doing the 3: biology, chemistry, and physics. There are those who are doing biological sciences and physical sciences, but for me, I did the 3 sciences.
Was mathematics a compulsory common?
Yes. Now the combinations were different. We had maths,
right.
We had Kiswahili, we had English. I did geography. We had history, then maths. Then biology, chemistry, physics. Yes,
those were
theory.
Oh, Christian, those were the ones we used to call pure sciences.
Yes, I did pure science.
So you passed through, you go through from, that was Form 4, right?
Yes.
And again, you faced the same hurdle again. My life and handles. Now I am done with Form 4 and I have passed and I've been invited to Kigumo Pendera secondary school to do maths, physics, and chemistry. By the way, my orientation is science. I am a science girl, but I missed it at some point now when I was going to Form 5. So I'm going to Kigumo Pendera, which is in Moranga. My grandfather doesn't have the money to take me to Moranga and do my MPC, as we were calling it those days, manpower combination. Okay.
Yes. So that is a maths, physics, chemistry.
Oh yeah, because I wanted to digress a little bit then, ask whether the manpower combination came from the colonial setup. MPC, those days if you are going to do maths, physics, and chemistry, there was this feeling of you are good. You are the creme de la creme.
We are doing the sciences, and more specifically maths, physics, chemistry was a big thing these days. And for me now, as a girl, it was even bigger.
It was anyway, out of the world.
Yes. Anyway, so I didn't manage to go to school the first term, all of first term. And I didn't want to imagine that I would miss going to school. I really wanted school. Guess what? This Keshagi girl, I don't even have clothes that I can wear and go to a school to look for a vacancy. I borrowed my neighbor called Modoni some clothes. I wore and went to Kangaroo school.
Wait, before you go to that story.
Yes.
There's this guy who coached you on what you should do for you to get into Kangaroo school. I need to hear about that guy.
Yes. So,
he was called Mr. Who?
Mr. Kavinda.
Yes, Mr. Kavinda. Tell us about Mr. Kavinda.
So I am here saying there is no way I will miss going to school because I'm not able to go to Kigumo Pendera I will go to Kangaroo. So I go to another lady. Even before I get to Kavinda, I go to another lady called Rwamba. Rwamba is my neighbor. She was a teacher. And I tell her, Rwamba, I am so interested in Kangaroo because it seems like going to Kegumo is going to be a big challenge. One, the school fees. Two, the fare and everything. So Rwamba tells me, if you want to go to Kangaroo, then you might need to speak to Kavinda first. Kavinda is Kadongo's friend. Kadongo is the head teacher. Mm-hmm. Those days, the head teachers were called the headmaster. And I'm telling you, they were really headmaster.
I mean, I'm born of one, so I know.
All right, so...
They were gods.
Yes, they were powerful. So Rwamba talks to Kavinda and tells Kavinda, there is a lady, a girl will be coming to talk to you. So I go to Kavinda's immediately in the morning, and Kavinda guides me and coaches me on how I am going to speak to Kadongo, but tells me in a way it is okay, you go. So I go to Kadongo.
So this is before mobile phones and landlines. So there's no way he's going to call prior you going.
No. It is their physical meetings.
So you are gone and you are on your own. He has not even given you a letter.
No, it's nothing.
Jitete?
No, unajitetea tu. But at least nitasema ninajua Rwamba na ninajua Kavinda. Anyway, I get there and the story changes. So, mimi huyo Kangaroo. Remember, I am just a simple girl from a peasant farmer, known by nobody. So I go to Kangaroo school. And I am at the secretary's place. And I tell the secretary, Sakamungu is my uncle. I need to see him. By the way, I gave him that story another day. We went to visit him. He was so amused by the story. But I give the story and I just laugh also. I don't know where I got the courage from. But anyway, I had to work it out. There is no way I was going to fail to go to Form 5. So I go to Kangaroo. I tell the secretary, Mr. Kadongo is my uncle. And the secretary is wondering which brother, which sister. But I don't want many stories because that's not true. So she goes to the headmaster and says, your niece is here to see you. And Mr. Kadongo says, Ingia. And it was a powerful office. So I get in, and Mr. Kadongo is looking at me that one of, did you say you're my niece?
Which one? I don't know you.
So I change the story. I tell Mr. Kadongo that I'm actually not your niece, I am Kavinda's niece.
Wow.
Kavinda is friend.
Yes.
Yes, so I am Kavinda's niece. So Mr. Kadongo is asking, which brother or sister of Kavinda?
Again, we are in
because they are good friends.
We are in the setup where in the village we actually knew everyone.
People in the village are one. So he's asking, which brother or sister? No, mimi ni mtoto wa nani? Which brother or sister? Do I even know? Oh my God. So I now have to tell the truth. I tell Mr. Kadongo, excuse me, it is not true. I need you to just listen to me. I have a challenge. Okay. Sema, ongea haraka. This day is my God. Akisema ongea haraka, hata yule ako nje anasikia. So I stammer around there. I'm trying to explain. I was called to Kigumo Pendela, and I was not able to go. And I want to come to Kangaroo in the second term because now this is end of first term.
Wait. So you've already waited?
Yes, a whole term. The time is ending. I can't
so you were at the point like the biblical story where they say, if we stay here, we die. If we go there, we may die.
Yes. Yeah, so I make an attempt to explain my story, and for some reason I had favor with Mr. Kadongo. I would say I had favor because I have cheated and he has known.
And you just came clean.
Yes, I was just looking for a way. I actually told him, you know what? I just looking for a way to come and see you. I need somebody to help me. So either you're cracking his mouth. I don't remember the name of the secretary. Lakini alimwambia mupatie barua atoke hapa. I walked out quickly.
I think we need to understand that if you had told your truth at the secretary point, that would have been the end of it.
That would have been the end of me. I can tell you this for free. Those days, headmasters' offices used to be very powerful. There is no way the secretary was going to allow me. I mean, Kangaroo was a big school, and it was a very prestigious school.
True.
Children who used to go to Kangaroo were children of the ministers. Yes. Apart from those who are placed there officially, and wengine wa kuulizia ni wa ministers. I schooled with ministers' kids. I mean, high profile people in the country. So there is no way me of a peasant farmer, I was going to be around to stay and go and look for a place at a vacancy. What do you mean?
And to even complicate it further, you had no money.
Yes. So akarusha mikono akaambia secretary anipatie barua. I was standing there shaking as I waited for the secretary to write my name. What is your name? What those things that you ask. The moment I was given the letter like this, I literally ran to the gate
before he changes his mind.
Before he changes his mind. So I ran to the gate. That's how I went to Kangaroo School.
Wow.
I am forever. For me,
wow.
That handle,
wow.
When I think about it today, I'm telling you, I freeze. Because the Kangaroo today,
that was a big one.
It's not the Kangaroo of those days. The Kangaroo of those days, we used to be almost 3,000. It used to be mixed. It used to be the biggest school, the center of Eastern Province. All the games and everything from Eastern Province used to be done at Kangaroo.
Yeah, I have a feeling of it because my old man taught at Meru School around those days.
Now Meru School was smaller than Kangaroo.
Yes,
Kangaroo
and that is
the Kangaroo School.
And it was at Meru School where he taught Kalonzo actually. So if Kangaroo was bigger,
yes,
then that should have been
Kangaroo
actually bigger.
Used to be the home of the minister's children.
Wow.
My friend, I lapped shoulders with the minister's children. When I think about it today, indeed, I say, this God.
Really?
Is
that was just awesome. Mm. So how was your experience at Kangaroo School?
Kangaroo School, Kangaroo School was a beautiful school. Our studies were very serious. The Christian Union was serious. I mean, it was a center of excellence. So it was the best school then. Even though even today it's still doing very well. But then it was a very prestigious school. My experience was superb.
Talk to us about.
Maybe I need to mention something.
Yes.
I told you about MPC.
Yes.
I have gone to Kangaroo School, second term. Okay.
Yes.
There used to be a teacher called Mikasa, and it was Mikasa or something like that, who was the teacher in charge of a subject combination. Mm-hmm. So he called me and told me, Mercy, you cannot do MPC in term 2. You won't make it. Maths, physics, chemistry, I've already done so much. Making up is going to be very difficult for you. So you need to get another combination. That is how Mercy branded herself in maths, geography, and economics. I never loved geography at all. I didn't love geography at all, but I didn't have a choice. I landed myself in MG Con.
Ah.
Yes.
Excellent.